So we are very honored to have Rene and Renata presenting Volocopter, and we thought we are going to do this as a fireside chat. And I don't know, when you think about big ideas or big changing concepts, I mean, traveling in the air, like with a taxi, is clearly the thing where every investor or every entrepreneur starts dreaming. And I want to, with the first question, open this discussion. What is your vision? How does your sector, or air transportation, or air taxis, or VTOLs, or there are many, many different phrases for it, how is this going to look like? I'm not going to asking when it will be, but I'm just going to ask you how it will look like. Maybe, Renata, you start, because you backed the company, so you had probably a very good vision. Do we have any microphones? There's a video. Okay, shall we play the video?
Maybe start with the video.
We start with the video. Can somebody press the play button? And volume?
What you are about to see, to hear, and to feel is pioneering work. Volocopter, the intelligent and connected urban air mobility solution. An idea that arose in 2011 and gained momentum ever since. Soon after, Volocopter celebrated the world premiere of the first autonomous flight in the breathtakingly majestic skyline of Dubai. This is not just about flying, it's about moving people. People who are more and more drawn to megacities, who strive to get from A to B comfortably and safely, relieving congested routes and making travel more connected, sustainable, and cost-effective. It's time to ask, how can we respond to the ever-growing complex demand for mobility? How can we create a sustainable contribution to make today's sprawling megacities more livable? How can we become an integral part of efficient and seamless mobility? As true pioneers, it is our goal to bring urban air mobility to life.
Beautiful movie. So far, just a movie, but it's very much an environmental topic, right? Renata, why don't you start the kick?
Yes. You know, the interesting, I think we have seen all the buzzwords there. Sustainable mobility, we have seen livable cities and so on. And how looks the mobility in the future? I think we have other words there. It will be connected. It will be most probably autonomous. It will be shared. And hopefully also electric. That's the tendencies will go. And I think...
will it be cheaper?
I don't think it will be cheaper for the first, in the next years. I think we have to count that mobility will be more expensive, but it will also be more efficient. And I think that's the way we have to go. And if we have a Volocopter or Lilium, that will be a part of the new mobility too. So I think we need to get all the possibilities and put them together. And we are working on that too, on particular, on connected, on autonomous, shared and electric. And we hope to be a part of sustainable mobility. And if you go into the cities, I think livable cities, this will be the future, absolutely.
I think it's how it will look,
how it looks outside the urban agglomerations, we have to see, because that will be certainly different.
Right. Rene, you are the CFO of Volocopter, coming a long time to NOAH with your previous company also. Daimler is your investor. It's not a typical financial investor. It's a strategic / financial investor. You want to hedge your bets, obviously. It's three-dimensional. What else you are getting from Daimler other than funding? Other synergies in the day-to-day?
Yeah, so on the cooperation is actually much more intense than I had expected before joining the company. Daimler is a minority investor together with other very important investors, including Inter Capital and Lukasz Gadowski and his team.
How much money have you raised?
We raised so far 34 million, which have been invested in this product, which is to our knowledge the most advanced, with over 1,000 test flights. and pretty close to being the first to be launched.
So they help you with the batteries, for example?
And Daimler is supporting on the production side, on the battery side. I think there's a big symbiosis on actually making things reality. Daimler is very experienced in bringing things onto the ground. And that is the key thesis and the key theme of Volocopter, is making the dream reality sooner than most people think.
And the idea that champions partner with challengers is the NOAH concept. Why we came to Berlin and we said, let's bring together the experienced companies with the challengers, the innovative model, which are having nothing to lose, and they're trying.
I think that's enormously important. We want to learn also from Volocopter. We want to get insights of all the new tendencies we have, and naturally we have to transform and we have to change. And that's a huge challenge, and then we have to learn from company like Volocopters. But on the other side, we have a long experience on technical developments, on productions, and I hope there we can work together and have an excellent result.
Right. Rene, when you and your Florian and the founders convinced Daimler to believe in the Volocopter, are you jointly succeeding to convince our politicians to open up and to regulate this new space? And regulation, also yesterday in the speech of Martin Wasawski at Axel Springer, seems to be something we Europeans are doing so well that we inhibit our new economy. Do you have similar things to report from, I think the association or the regulator is called IATA, what's the name?
It's called IASA.
IASA, yeah.
Yeah, so first of all, this is a product where naturally every politician wants to be involved with. And where also a lot of regulators are trying to be at the forefront of making it a reality. So what we see is we have very strong support from both the European Air Safety Association, EASA, which is the front runner worldwide actually on regulation. They are about 5 years ahead of the Americans on this one, allowing us to make it a reality about 5 years before any American will ever be able to launch a product like this into a city.
But your product is ready to fly, okay, so far I guess with a pilot, soon without the pilot, but you are waiting for the regulator to let you launch your commercial line because you're operating the routes also, you're not just selling the hardware, but you are not yet allowed to fly. So how long are you in the regulation process already?
We're going through a certification process, which is in principle the same certification process as for any commercial aircraft, which means the same as for an Airbus or the same as it should have been for a Boeing. The certification process is extremely diligent and also will be very tough for a lot of startups which don't have the aerospace background. And that process will take for us about another 2 years due to the head start that we've had in development.
So it's a 4 years process in total?
It depends on where you start. In the US, the head of the FAA just announced that they expect another 4 years to have the regulation ready and then 8 years to certification. In Europe, we hope that we come out at about 5 years total process.
So Renata, it looks like you backed the right company, first to fly, I would put it. How do you see the venture capital colleagues, I would call them, because for you it's also a financial investment. Are you surprised about the success of Volocopter? Are you feeling that venture capitalists are in Europe too hesitant? I mean, there are mega checks being written all over the world. In Europe, with 34 million, I think it's already a respectable amount to get the product ready. But yeah, what's next? How can you make sure that Volocopter is not just a German phenomena, but will become a global standard, maybe?
Yeah, you know, I think that's an interesting question with regard to venture capital and all the industry. Naturally, we cannot make the bid on everybody, so we have to decide because money is not just open there. But naturally, we hope that we will be successful with Volocopter because it will also be a success for us because we want to connect and to have mobility. Otherwise, the venture capital scenario here in Europe, you know, that is different than in the US. And I spoke yesterday evening with 2 Swiss startups, and they are saying we are coming to Berlin because it's different here in Germany than in Switzerland, and it's probably different in the US than in Germany. And I think there is a difficulty. The Europeans are more hesitant than probably in other areas in the world to invest into joint ventures, into startups.
Yeah, we lead the automotive industry, or at least have led the automotive industry for many years, and now we have such a great startup made in Germany for the air taxi space. So we hope that the German the regulators are going to make it easy rather than difficult for them. How competitive is it, Rene? How many players are there in the world who are doing what you do? And
so there are a lot of players in the early innovation stage trying to develop new ideas about it, and that illustrates how attractive the market is. Morgan Stanley estimates that the market is somewhere around 3 trillion plus of urban air mobility, or mainly urban air mobility.
3 billion or trillion?
3 trillion plus.
So that's a potential.
That's the market potential.
If you go shop for eggs with your Volocopter.
We are very much focused on the larger part of that, which is urban. There are the people who go suburban and longer ranges. We focus on shorter ranges and cities. And of course, there's a lot of people interested in that space. We believe that the challenge will be to get beyond the initial prototype stage and really get something flying. This is really a product where you need to have the same safety standard as for a commercial aircraft if you want to fly into a city, and that entails processes and certification requirements which a lot of people are not prepared for.
Just sorry, a remark. Yes. We spoke about regulation and certification. I think it's not only a question of legislation and the regulatory framework. I think what we need to take care of is when we are introducing new technologies like volocopters, we need also to make sure that we are connecting with politics and society, because new technology needs to be accepted. It's the same with autonomous driving. We can work on very, very intuitive projects. If you don't get acceptance from politics and society, it will not fly. I think that's important.
Well, let's finish with one statement: healthy first, or health first. But I'm very trustful that the Volocopter, which I was already, is a safe way of transportation, not harming the environment, right? Because it's like a gigantic drone, basically. It's electric, has 18 motors, and it's fascinating. Thank you so much, Renata. Rene, good luck.
Thanks for having us, Marco.
On all fronts, venture capital, regulator. Thank you. Super. Thank you.